Do you always end up dating the wrong type of guys over and over again? Isn't it exhausting to get excited about the possibilities only to realize down the line exactly why he's still single? We're gonna stop this cycle from continuing to happen to you anymore, which is exactly why on today's show, we're gonna be discussing the 5 things you must look out for. Because if he does this, you better not date him. That way, you can prevent yourself from making the mistake of investing yourself in a man who you're only going to realize down the line is not at all what you're looking for. First things first is going to be endless chit chat. And when I say endless chit chat, I mean chit chat that goes absolutely nowhere. You are not going to date a textaholic. I don't care how good it feels. I don't care how fun it is. You're not dating those men. And even more than that, if you notice that the man that you're talking to is someone who likes to have endless chit chat, you better be avoiding those men like the plague. Why? Because the men that want to have endless chit chat with you are usually having endless chit chat with you because they have no plans of actually seeing you. And see, here's the mistake that some of you are making when you're dating and trying to meet new guys, is that you start having endless chit chat with the guy thinking that somehow this is going to lead to something serious and you guys actually going out on a date. Let's say you download Hinge, you're swiping on Hinge, you like a guy on Hinge, you're messaging him for a little bit. Now you're all excited that you match with the guy that you think is attractive on Hinge. You add each other on Instagram. You add each other on Snapchat. You guys are messaging day 1. You're all excited because he messaged you back really fast. You're messaging day 2. Oh, now you're still excited. Everything's happening and you feel like this is really going somewhere. Day 3, maybe you guys get on a call or a FaceTime or something like that. And you guys are chit-chatting some more. Then day 5, more texting. Day 6, more texting. Next week, still texting. Maybe a call or two. Next month. And now all of a sudden, you've invested weeks of your time into a guy who's just going to sit there and chit chat with you and talk to you about his day and ask you about your day, but never actually say, hey, Missy, I want to actually take you out on a date so that we can start building a relationship here. Chit chat in itself is not a crime, but what you want to be looking out for is guys that just want company. Guys also like attention. Guys also like validation, and guys are very good at going out and seeking the easiest places to get attention from women and get validation from them, because they are also of the mind frame that if they can go on a dating app and they can swipe endlessly on a whole bunch of girls and have endless chit chat with them, they feel like they're actually doing something. What we call in the Players Club, the microwave men come into place, because the microwave men want things quick and easy. They also are a lot of times looking for what we call cheap thrills. They don't actually want to do the work, even going out to the club and getting dressed, getting a haircut, shaving, looking presentable, being charismatic, meeting girls, talking to them. And they get to flirt with girls by actually getting up out of their bed and looking nice and getting to talk to girls in real life. They don't even want to do that, but they still want to feel the attention from girls and feel like they're doing something. So they hop on the dating app, they swipe right on a whole bunch of girls, just trying to get quantity there. Then when they meet you or they finally match with you after they've matched with 200 other people, they'll just endlessly chit chat with you because they don't have real intention of dating anyone on these apps. And a lot of the guys that are on dating apps, they just want attention, or they want cheap thrills in the form of endless chit chat, or in the form of, hey, you can come over to my place, we'll watch Netflix and I'll jackrabbit myself inside of you for 90 seconds or less. And you have to be understanding and very aware of whether or not you're spending your time or investing your time in a guy who's just endlessly gonna have chit chat with you. In this category, we're also gonna lump in what I call pen pals. What we describe as pen pals in the Players Club are guys that you will message that may or may not live close to you. A lot of times they live farther away from you, they're a long distance from you, but even sometimes they might live close to you. But all they want to do is text you, call you, and maybe FaceTime you every now and again. But it never actually culminates into you guys spending real, genuine, quality time in person. And at the end of the day, you can't build a relationship with someone just by calling and texting them 24/7. This is the part that I want you paying attention to. Some of you get into this pattern with guys where you might chit chat majority of the time and see this guy one time in a month. Then you see him, you sleep with him. He might chit chat with you for a couple of days. After that, it fizzles out again. And you're noticing this cycle of chit chat for a couple of days, and then it fizzles out. Then he talks to you again. He sleeps with you, chit chat for a couple of days, fizzles out, talks to you, and it just goes round and round and round. It's the same thing as endless chit chat, because what's happening is you're not actually going anywhere. And it's not that you have to be super impatient when you date people, but it's very healthy and good for you as a woman to be able to recognize within the men that you're spending your time with, do you have real intention here? Are you really interested? Are you really trying to pursue here? Or do you just want to sit back, relax, and just see where things go? Number 2 is what I describe as being an actionless hero. Anytime you're dating a guy and you get the sense after a while that he makes these really big promises, oh, me and you, we're gonna go to Disney World. Oh my gosh, I know I live halfway across the world, but I promise you, I'm gonna get an Airbnb. Me and you are gonna spend a week together in this Airbnb, and I promise you, I'm gonna come see you. We're gonna spend so much time together. We're gonna cuddle so close. Oh my God, I'm gonna eat you, and I'm literally gonna put you inside my stomach, and you're gonna live in my stomach, and we're gonna be so close. We're gonna cuddle for so long. Can you believe that? I'm looking at jobs in your city. I might move to your city. Can you believe that? These actionless heroes are going to make you promises on promises on promises of things that are about to come in your relationship. What's going to end up happening is nothing. Every time he gives you a new promise to get excited about, that you look forward to, that you're holding out hope for, all of that hope and excitement is only going to carry you up until the next disappointment. And then right when you become so disappointed that you're ready to walk away, he's then going to come back with a new promise that's going to get you excited again. And he's going to explain away all the disappointments you have for all the promises that have been unkept. Something very important to take note of, because these actionless heroes, not only do they promise big things and never come through with them when it comes to actually like dating you or seeing you or spending time with you, but also they make a lot of promises to you as it relates to the relationship and where they want this to go. Oh, you know, I really want to date you, but I just don't have enough money right now. I didn't know that it costs money to ask someone to be their girlfriend. Oh, you know, I really want to date you, but I'm just really stressed at work. What does being stressed at work have to do with committing yourself to someone else? They just give you all these like promises of like, hey, just once I do this thing, we're about to date. You know, we're going to take the next step and get serious once I do this one thing. But you know what's so funny about that? He never does the thing. Your relationship never ends up going to the next level. And so you're always stagnant. And you're always in the same place 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now. And the reason I call it actionless hero is because it sounds so heroic, the way he talks about saving your life and doing this for you and doing that with you and you guys going away to a land far, far away and sweeping you off on a white horse and all this amazing stuff that sounds so great. And nothing ever happens. You waste so much time waiting for any of those things to come to fruition. Notice when a guy is a promiseaholic, promising you all of these big things and nothing ever comes to fruition. But it's also going to be a great way when you easily identify this to stop and prevent yourself from wasting time with the guy that you're going to go nowhere with fast. You know, having direction is not just saying, yeah, I want to date you one day eventually. It's also about having a plan and a course of action towards that. But then, like we all talk about, actions speak louder than words, taking action towards that. I want you paying very close attention to guys if they're actionless heroes that just talk to you and promise you big things and never actually do that, okay? Goose says, why do they do that? Well, they could be being an actionless hero for multiple reasons. They could be doing that so that in the process of them promising you big things, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to act on the relationship as if those big things are already happening. Let's say you have whatever amount of money is in your bank account. Let's say $1,000 or whatever, okay? Let's say $2,000, enough for you to live for the month comfortably and you can have some fun and enjoy yourself. Now, you have $2,000 in your bank account. But if I came to you and told you, hey, I got a little secret for you. I actually got a lottery ticket And yo, if you just do this thing for me, I can't cash it in because I did it a little, sneaky way through a back door. You cash in the lottery ticket, you're going to get 500,000 and I'm going to get 500,000. It's a win-win for both of us. Next month, you're going to have $500,000 sitting in your bank account. And you're going to say to yourself, oh, great. I got, $500,000 coming to me in a month. So what are you going to look at that $2,000 and do with that $2,000? You're going to say, who cares if I spend this $2,000 this month? I don't need to save anything. I've got $500,000 coming to me literally next month. And so you're going to be a lot more carefree with the $2,000 that's actually sitting in your bank account because you're of the belief that $500,000 is already yours. I've promised you that this $500,000 is going to be in your bank account by next month, and you really believe that. So because you really believe that, you're going to use up this $2,000 as if you already have the $500K. If the time comes for you to cash out on that $500K and get that $500K deposited into your bank account and that $500K is not there, what happens now? Because you spent all the $2,000 that was in your bank account thinking that the $500K was yours already. You acted in the present based on what you anticipated happening in the future. And so the same thing happens in your relationships with guys. See, if they can promise you something big in the future, they know you'll begin acting on what they have promised you in the future, but you'll start acting on it now in the present. Number 3 is what I describe as influenced attention. You're not going to like this. I love you and I care about you, but I have to be real with you in order for me to actually help you. Not all attention is created equal. If the man that you like or you think you're building with only seems to give you the most attention either when he's sleeping with you, about to sleep with you, or when he's drunk or under the influence, that is not real attention. And I want you paying attention to the way that he treats you when he's horned up or when he's drunk or under the influence, whatever his vice is. Because if you're starting to notice a theme and a pattern where the only time he compliments you and is nice to you is when he's drunk or high, or the only time that he compliments you or is nice to you is when he's really horned up, that is not representative of your entire actual relationship with him. You can trick yourself into thinking he's such a nice, amazing guy because he's so nice to me and sweet to me when he's horned up, or he's so nice to me and sweet to me when he's drunk or he's high. See, a lot of you are in situations where the guy that you like is only willing to call you or FaceTime you when he's drunk at a club or drunk at a party or drunk on the street or drunk at a friend's house. The only time he actually makes you feel good or makes you feel desired and wanted is when he's drunk or when he's horned up. If he has to be under the influence of either his pee-pee or under the influence of some sort of drug, that is not representative of the fact that he actually wants you and wants to build with you. Please don't make this mistake, because I know it can be an easy mistake to make. Because guys get so lovey. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You're the most beautiful girl I've ever met. I've never seen anyone like you. Oh my God, your hair is like Rapunzel. Oh my God, you're the best thing since sliced bread. Oh my God, you're just like the most mesmerizing, amazing girl I've ever seen. Your dump truck is like 85,000 the size of anyone ever. Your yiddies are literally bouncing up and down and I can't get enough of it. The compliments are great, but just take notes of when the compliments are happening. Nothing wrong with being affectionate, but if you're noticing a crazy imbalance and a lot of coldness when he's not horned up, or you're noticing a lot of coldness when he's not drunk or high, that should loop you into a pattern that's going on. Because usually when he's drunk or high, he's probably horned up, which is why he's bothering to call you or bothering to message you or bothering to FaceTime you. So they kind of go hand in hand. But I just don't want you to forget that your relationship is meant to actually represent more and more affection and more intimacy than just when he's horned up or just when he's drunk or under the influence. Let's say you're in a situation where the guy that you like, he usually doesn't text you for multiple days. You guys might talk for a bit and it fizzles out. He's not really a big texter and he never calls you on regular days during the weekday. But on Saturdays when he goes out with the boys, all of a sudden at 2:30 a.m. when he's leaving the club off that Casamigos, off that 1942, off that hen dog, he can call you. Or he knows how to FaceTime you, or he knows how to blow up your phone and text you then. I know it sounds silly, but I want you taking notice of this because, see, you might not be drunk, or you might not be under the influence when he messages you or calls you at these times. So you might be thinking to yourself, oh, like this is just him showing me attention because he really likes me and he really wants me. No, it's him showing you attention because he's horned up and his PP has so much blood flow going to it, he can barely even type on the screen. There's nothing wrong with the guy being attracted to you. But when there's a large imbalance like that, of the way that he treats you or approaches you or talks to you when he's horned up or under the influence, and the way that he talks to you or approaches you or treats you when he's completely sober and it's a regular Tuesday afternoon, take note of that. And do not date those type of guys, because that is a indirect understanding. That should show you, remember, you're observing and you're analyzing. That should show you that what you're really here for and what my value really is to you is something for you to jackrabbit yourself inside of. And if it isn't for the fact that you're horned up or you're under the influence, you don't seem to remember me or care about anything that's going on with me or my life. The really funny thing about influenced attention is guys can't even sustain this. For those of you who have ever experienced this, this is what the pattern will essentially be. A guy will hit you up. He'll talk to you, oh, how you been, da, da, da. He'll make it seem as if, oh, I really care about how you've been doing and I really want to see how you are and catch up with you. He'll essentially tell you that he wants to see you either today or tomorrow, right? Very, very soon, right? In between him texting you. Now, what's going to happen is you're all excited because he's showing you some attention. So you're thinking, oh my God, you probably really like me now and you really want to see me now. Let's hang out. Let's spend some time together. You spend some time with him. He jackrabbits himself inside of you. Okay, good. Now you feel good. Now you feel all amazing about this. He's like, okay, great. That was awesome. We chit chat, right? You guys might even have a good conversation. He goes home. Maybe you guys chit chat for a couple more days and then it fizzles out. Fizzles out meaning that he just stops messaging you randomly. He doesn't really talk to you for a couple of days. And now there's a process of days or sometimes weeks that goes by where he doesn't message you at all. Not one blip. And even when you do message him, he's not really messaging you back. And he doesn't message you back for a couple of weeks until finally he messages you again. And then the process happens all over again. You're going to find yourself in this cycle where you're just going on a hamster wheel. Number 4 is what I call complaining without change. When you're with a guy that complains without change, you can't do anything with him. You can't do anything. The reason why is because if he's going to complain about a situation, and I specifically mean complain about a situation as it relates to you and his relationship and why he can't do this or why he can't do that or why he can't be this for you or be that for you, but he's not going to come up with a course of action or a plan to change that, you're going to be in the exact same spot 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Let's say, for the sake of example, you and a guy are in a long distance relationship. You live in Europe and he lives in Miami. I don't know why you'd be dating a guy that lives in Miami, but let's just say he lives in Miami and you live in Europe. A plane ticket from Miami to Europe costs, let's just say, $2,000. And he's like, oh, you know what? I wish I could see you more, but at work, I'm not really making enough money and I don't have the funds to be able to spend $2,000 on a plane trip from Miami all the way to Europe. And I just wish I could, but I can't really do that right now. And I wish I had the funds, but I guess I can't really see you. Okay, great. That's a problem. Now, if in the process of him complaining about the fact that he doesn't have enough money so he can't come see you across the world and book that plane ticket to spend time with you, if in that time, every time you're FaceTiming him or calling him or asking him what he's doing, he's like, oh, I'm just playing Xbox. If he's having money issues and these money issues are affecting his ability to build a relationship with you, but he's not spending his spare time trying to figure out or solve his money issues, how are you ever supposed to be in a different situation? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? Sometimes when you're not thinking about it deeply, you can just pass it over and not really think much of it. So if a guy is ever telling you, oh, I can't, date you because of my situation with money, or I can't date you because of my situation with this, or I can't do this for you because of my situation with that. But at the end of the day, if you have no plan to at least try to see a different result and you're just going to keep doing the same thing you've been doing, well, nothing is going to change. Precisely why I always want you men who have direction and know how to solve problems. One of the worst mistakes you can make is dating a guy who doesn't know how to solve even his own problems and isn't solution oriented. At the end of the day, there will always be issues when it comes to relationships, and you'll never have perfection in your life or in your relationship. And if your man doesn't know how to fight through and get through adversity in his own life or in your relationship with him, you will always be stuck in a limbo state where you have no idea where things are going because you don't want to leave because you feel like, oh, it would be wrong of me to just abandon him and leave. But at the same time, if you stay the entire time, you're only going to be frustrated the entire time. So for example, if you're in that situation where you're in Europe and you're dating a guy who lives in Miami and he's telling you he doesn't have the money to come see you or buy a plane ticket to come see you, you spend the entire year chit-chatting with him over the phone and you never once see him in person that entire year, what are you going to do then? How is that sustainable? And that entire year where he didn't have money to come see you, he spent all the excess time he had playing video games, playing Xbox, playing PlayStation, playing NBA 2K, instead of actually getting off of his butt and going and doing something that'll make him some money so that he can come see you. What are you supposed to do then? Because you're feeling bad for breaking up with them because you're like, oh my God, I don't want to break up with you because you have no money. And I don't want to break up with you because you're in a tough spot because we all go through things. But at the same time, if you have no plan or course of action to try to actually solve your situation, 1 year from now, you're still going to have money problems that don't allow you to book a flight to come see me. What point do those problems just become his problems and no longer your problems? Because what are you supposed to do? Sit back, relax, and close yourself off to the possibility of meeting other amazing people that figured out their life and figure out what they want to do. And this man is just still fumbling and stumbling through life with no direction and no plan or course of action. It doesn't make sense for you, and it's a waste of time for you. Number 5 is a man child. Nothing wrong with your man liking to enjoy himself. He likes to go out, have a couple drinks, drink some wine. Nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. Human nature. Here's the thing though. If you are dating a man that you have to take care of, meaning when you guys go out together, you have to make sure he knows where his wallet and his keys are. You have to make sure that he doesn't get lost. You have to make sure that he doesn't get so drunk that he's fallen over in a ditch somewhere. You have to make sure that he doesn't have vomit on his shirt at the end of the night. You have to make sure that he actually gets back to his apartment safe and sound. You're dating a man child. You should never step out of your house with your man and feel like you have to be the one taking care of him. Because going out with your girlfriend is not just doing whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. Because there's someone with me that I'm also responsible for their safety. Of course, you're capable of also protecting yourself to a certain extent. But as a man, if I go out and you're my woman, I have to make sure that you're taken care of. That should be natural to the man that you're dating. I told you, you don't really know someone just by going out on a couple of nice dinner dates to Italian restaurants and slurping spaghetti on a Saturday night. That's not really knowing them. I want you to see them in a plethora of different situations. And one of the great situations for you to see them in is to go out somewhere else with them, especially if you can go out somewhere else with them and maybe some friends, because that's even more representative of how he's actually going to be. And take notice of if he becomes a man child that you have to take care of or you have to be responsible for, because once again, that is something completely unsustainable for you as a woman. You're supposed to feel safe with your man because you can't feel safe with your man if you're taking care of him. I would watch women on the street have their man's arm holding them up. They got the hand around their man's waist and they took the other arm and put it over their shoulder and they're carrying and holding their man up. Their man's like this, throw up on his shirt, like a zombie, falling into the bushes because she can't even hold up his weight. It's so sad. I never want you to experience that. But I also want you to become very quick at figuring out if that is that guy. You ain't gonna get anywhere with those guys. You're going to waste a lot of your time, energy, and nothing is going to come from those relationships except for frustration. Take note of the man-childs. They will waste a lot of your time and you can't do nothing with them. Like all of the rest of these things that I said here, you can't do nothing with them if you see those qualities in those guys that you're dating.